Welcome to Best in Boxing. This is Armando Moreno, your host. I'm going to be talking about the Ryan Garcia Barrios fight that just happened over the weekend. Great fight. I have in studio today special guest, and hopefully we're going to be doing a lot of these. Is Jesto Mathis. Going to bring Jesto in right now. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you, fellow boxing head. Before I get going, like, subscribe, follow Best in Boxing. We've got a lot of fights on the channel. I want to thank over the 4,000 people that subscribe, because I know that you're true boxing heads. Because it's always the boxing that we've done has always been the early stages of the fight game. We've done fights out of Mexico, out of San Diego, out of Los Angeles. And it's something that I want to get back to. We haven't done one in a while, but we've got some special things coming down the line that I can't quite talk about yet, but hopefully soon we will have more boxing on the channel. So please like, subscribe. But today we are going to talk about several things. We're going to start off talking about the Barrios Garcia fight that just happened over the weekend. First, before we get into it, what did you think was going to happen going into the fight? Like, what was your thoughts about how this fight was going to play out before we actually get to how it played out?
To be totally honest with you, I went into the fight knowing that Ryan had somewhat of the upper hand because of his speed, power, yada yada. However, I really wanted Barrios to win this fight. I did. If I was a betting man, that night I would have put my money on Barrios. And yeah, that's what knowing Ryan has that equalizer,
Right.
But I thought that Barrios, he would be a lot more fundamentally sound going into it. He's been in somewhat bigger fights, if you will, Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, and, just a few other people that he's fought. I thought that he was ready to rise to this occasion. That's what I was going into it, thinking that this is like do or die for Barrios. So we may see the best of Barrios.
Yeah, for me, it was the Ryan factor. It was we had talked about this before the fight, and I was agreeing with you that I thought Ryan, being the head case that he is, certainly hoping that he's gotten his mental health together and he's able to rededicate himself to boxing. But going into this, I didn't know. It was an unknown factor, right? So it's one of those true gambling things that you're putting on, that if you put money down on the fight, where you don't know what version of Ryan you're going to get every time he steps in the ring. And when all the buildup was going for this fight, I was like, you know what? I feel like the boxing world, except for those true Garcia fans, the boxing world was very skeptical about this fight.
Yes.
He got caught for steroids, then he doesn't show up when he gets back from his suspension, has a terrible fight, and then he gets a world championship fight at 147 pounds. And I didn't know what version we were going to get. And obviously we got a rededicated. He went back to his father. I was fortunate. I was at the fight, and when he stepped in the ring, I was ringside working. When he stepped in, and I saw him enter the ropes and run across to his corner, the look in his eyes, I was like, oh, he's and this is someone I've been to a ton of fights ringside, and so I'm not just some random fan that's like, oh yeah, he looked good. You can see it in their eyes. That you can't, I don't feel like you can capture them on television. Just the body language, everything about him. When he got in there, I was like, oh, this could be a short night, because the intensity in his face was there. And I'm not sure how well that translated on television, but I was like, right there, it just clicked in my head. He's got this before even a punch was thrown. And then it was just, he dismantled Mario. It was I don't know if it was the fact that he had changed trainers, but he was shell shocked all night. As soon as he went down, even before, like the few punches before he went down, there was no game plan. There was no you couldn't see game plan A, and certainly there was no change to game plan B, game plan C. It was just shell shock.
This is correct. That was my assessment as well. The first couple of seconds of the first round, Ryan came out and he threw that right hand and it landed. And from that point, it just seems as Barrios, he was confused. And when he threw it again and it landed, he went down. And from that point on, he was shell shocked. He was a fighter without confidence. He second guessed every punch he threw. And I just felt like.
And then say that again. What punch did he throw?
I mean, he tried towards like the later part of the fight, I think, but for the first 4 or 5 rounds, he wasn't himself. I don't understand the game plan. I don't think there was a game plan. And like you said, he made no adjustments throughout the fight. Ryan Garcia made Barrios look like a novice.
Right. And then it was the right hand that put him down, not the left. Everybody knows Ryan's got amazing left hand. And for the most part, that's what people thought he had. And that was it, because for probably the past 3 years, that's all he's shown is that left. And in some fights, it's gotten him through, but he threw the right all night long, and Barrios didn't know what to do with it.
I think you have to give credit to Ryan's team, his father, his trainer. That was, everybody knows about that dangerous left hook. So He came out and hit him with the right. He was unexpecting that. And that's what I think kind of confused him throughout the rest of the night. I mean, I just can't believe he put on such a stellar performance. The only thing that I would say that I can take away as a somewhat of a concern from Ryan's performance that night was his defense looked to be not as he didn't look defensively sound. Like once or twice, I saw him do a 360 in the ring, trying to defend a shot that whenever Barrios did try to advance. So once again, I think he put on a hell of a performance. However, I don't know how to really assess him in, the 147 pounders out there right now. That was a fight at what, 147, correct? Yes?
147 WCP
so I don't know how to assess him and categorize him, in comparison to the other fighters in that weight division. Because, like I said, Barrios, it just looks like he had no game plan whatsoever, bro. He came out there. I don't know what. And, bro, let's go back to the press conference. Like Joe Goosen, bro, listen to me. His energy throughout the press conference, it's like he was so, congratulatory of Ryan's success. Whenever trying to give a compliment to his fighter, he had to almost, give kudos to Ryan before saying anything that was complimentary of the fighter that he was training. I just felt like the energy was off. I felt like Ryan dominated the press conference, everything leading up to the fight, calling Joe Goosen a traitor. And I think they kind of got in their heads early into the fight. That's why it was really no game plan. He kind of stole the night when he caught him with that right hook, bro. And from that point on, it was just, I don't know, him flying by the seats of his pants the entire fight, bro. I didn't really understand the game plan, like you said.
Yeah, you would think. Okay, so Goosen trained Ryan. Obviously, we don't know that, and so Goosen had to be aware of Ryan's speed. And in a situation like that where Barrios is slower, he's probably the slowest of the champions.
Right.
You have to learn to time. The only way you can beat a guy that's faster than you is timing.
Right.
And that's never been Barrios's strength. He is a stereotypical Mexican style boxer where he's gonna walk a guy down. He's gonna come after you. He stands tall. And I know that talking to many matchmakers and trainers, when a fighter switches trainer and wants to learn something new, so in this case, timing, it takes 3-4 fights before a fighter actually cements that, and it becomes a tick. It's something that's just reactive. And it seems like he was trying to go back to his training and be like, okay, how do I time this guy? And by the time he processed all that, Ryan had already hit him 2 or 3 times. And I just think that it possibly could have been not that Goosen's a great trainer. I mean, he's been around for a very long time. He's trained a lot of champions, so I can't put it on Goosen. It's his student wasn't able to download all that information he was learning in a way to make it real time against Ryan's speed, because everyone knows, like, Ryan has the reason Ryan gets a question mark on his name all the time prior to winning his championship. Finally, what is he, 29 years old, has his first championship. That's pretty late in the game. He has God-given knockout power, one-punch power. He has speed. He has hand speed and foot speed. And then he has a long amateur career, over 260 fights, I believe. And so he has that God-given talent. And then Goosen knows this speed, knows his power. And it should have been, the game plan should have been timing, because the size difference between the two, actually Ryan looked bigger in the ring. He was more solid. Everything about the matchup when they were up against each other, Ryan just looked bigger. He was the bigger, stronger, faster fighter. And so how do you beat that? You have to learn timing. And it's just something that he's never been that great at in terms of Mario. So if they fought this fight 3 times, I just don't see it changing. Maybe Barrios goes down or gets KO'd if they fought 2 more times. I don't see anything in his arsenal to make Ryan respect him, because Ryan's defense was offense in this fight. He just kept bringing it. And you're right about Ryan has this unorthodox, do a 360, like turn his back to the fight. I don't get that. Nobody gets that in boxing. But in this case, Barrios just didn't know what he was doing in there. And that says a lot about his training method. I mean, you're talking, like you said, he fought Pacquiao. He went 12 rounds with Pacquiao and beat him. Now, I think Pacquiao won that fight, but it was a close fight. So if you're going toe-to-toe with a Pacquiao and you step in there with a Ryan, chances are you probably can hand it to Ryan a little bit. But I didn't see any of that at all. I think that he got 1 round on the scorecards, maybe 2.
Yeah, that was if you were being generous. I just thought, once again, he didn't rise to the occasion. I expected more of him. To be totally honest with you, I just got out of the gym, and the gym that I train at, right across the street, there's a park with a big ass track. Mario Barrios, he's over there often. I see him once in a while, and I'm always, very, respectful and, congratulating him every time I get a chance to. I didn't see him training throughout this training camp right here, but man, I don't know if I would, hindsight's 2020. What would you tell him going into this fight? Like, bro, you got to press. I don't think he used his jab enough. I don't think that, once he was hit with the right hand, I don't think he recovered from that. So it wasn't a whole bunch that he did that we can actually assess and say you could have done more of anything, because he was kind of like very standoffish. He wasn't fighting that. He never did find his range, his distance. And I just felt like whenever Ryan tried to press, he had no answers for that. There was no half step back counter. There was no, duck, slide out counter. There was no game plan. I don't understand what he tried to accomplish that night. So after about the 5th, 6th, 7th round, it just looks like he was going through the motion. He would, try to get some offense in every now and again, but nothing to write home about. And to be totally honest with you, man, it just looked like a masterclass on Ryan's part. But then again, how can we say that? Because Mario Barrios never really pressed the issue or pushed the issue. So how do you categorize Ryan's performance? Where do you rate him throughout the rest of the 147 pound fighters out there? How do you place him?
Let me pull that back up. So this is the 147 pound by belts. So you got Devin Haney with the WBO. Ryan's now the WBC champion. You got Romero as the WBA and Crocker as the IBF. So let's talk about Barrios first. In this lineup, because he's definitely he should stay at 147. I don't think he's going to be able to compete at 54 yet, size wise. So in this mix, do you see any names in there that you think, okay, Barrios should step up to fight next? I mean, it's got to be a rebuilding fight for him.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going through the list of these contenders here. I don't know everyone. However, if we're talking WBO, I think Jack Catterall will beat Barrios. Oh, you said Ryan or Barrios?
No, we'll talk Barrios first.
Yeah, I think Jack Catterall will beat him. Manny Pacquiao, I think he'll beat him the second time in. He doesn't want to see Brian Norman's power. Liam or I don't know the other guy, Rohan. I haven't seen much of him. Conor Benn will beat him if you're talking in regards to WBC.
Right. Well,
I don't know the other guys here. However,
it's not a strong division. I mean, you got the top guys, and then below that, there's a lot of opportunities. Pacquiao is obviously out because he has an exhibition fight against Provodnikov, and then he's going to fight Mayweather, which we'll talk about later. So that's out. Conor Benn is now with Zuffa. And I'm not sure what the heck is happening with that, because they keep on saying it was a one fight. I think it's a $15 million one fight deal. So Conor may be free after that. I think that would be a good fight for him in that it's a known name and will get him the biggest purse.
But he will lose again.
Right. That, or if he goes over, if he goes across the pond and fights Crocker. But coming off a loss,
he doesn't deserve that fight.
True, but it's oftentimes just like Ryan, coming off a loss at 147 didn't deserve his fight. It's all about the money, right? So
but also it's the fame, the popularity that helps Ryan, that pushes, that gives him that extra incentive. Barrios doesn't have that. And if you really rate his last 4 fights going into this new fight or challenge with your boy Crocker across the pond, then that means that he had 2 draws and a loss, and he's still getting a title shot for his very next 4th fight. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and he's not ranked in the IBF, so the the opportunity he's got. I think he's going to go away and rebuild. So he's got to
rebuild.
He's got to take an easy fight. If he stays with Goosen will have more time to work on what they feel they need to work on. Definitely timing. He's one-dimensional at this point. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, we're talking, like, I have a lot of respect for him. He's a world champion. He got there. Out of all the world champions, if you take the 4 world champions, him before the fight, he would be number 4 on that list out of those guys. But Rolly is there. That's a winnable fight. Rolly's got he has speed, but again, if he's working with Goosen and learns timing, there's a possibility there.
I mean, if is a little word, that means a whole lot of stuff. But I think Rolly's last outing, you're only as good as your last outing. Rolly surprised everyone in his last outing. And you have to remember, Rolly has that equalizer. He can end things in one punch. I don't think Barrios can. I don't think that's a good matchup for him, to be honest with you, unless you're just saying, I'm gonna just go ahead and call it a career and just go out on my shield.
Right.
Rolly will end him. Going into the fight, like I think if Ryan would have pressed the issue a lot sooner, he would have gotten Barrios out of there.
Yeah,
facts.
Barrios tough. I was so One of the things that impressed me most about Ryan the first time I saw him, which was several years back, was his power. So when you're Deontay Wilder, same thing. When he throws, when those two guys would throw, and they connect, it is a thunderous pop. And there was a couple times where he caught him on the chin with that same thunderous pop, and he didn't go down. I was really surprised at his ability to withstand a punch. He took a couple body shots that if he wasn't in great shape like he was, he should have gone down. So he's a tough guy, but tough doesn't win fights.
Skills do.
Right. All right, so let's move over to Ryan. What do you want to see next with Ryan?
You already know what I want. You already know what I want.
All right, well, let me play devil's advocate. Shakur says he can only go up to 142. That's his max right now. I don't like the fight at 142. I like it at 147. I don't think there should be a catch weight. I think it should be 147, no rehydration. That's why I think it should wait. It's probably not going to, because that's what Ryan wants. But I think he should wait.
He wants Shakur over Haney.
That's here. I'll pull up his tweet. This is today. He's willing to go down to 140. It says, to those that are worried about the 140-pound weight, I will tell you this. It is my plan to be able to also win at 140, as long as there is no rehydration, which killed him in the Tank fight. Clause, things will be going forward. He wants the fight. Let's see if Oscar's going to allow it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that there's some history there as well with Shakur. However, I think the biggest fight to be made in boxing as of right now is the Haney-Garcia rematch. They're both on a winning trajectory. I think not only the hardcores, but the casuals want to see this fight as well. I think the buildup for this fight would be sensational. If they do the 24/7 behind the scenes, oh man, all the drama that's there, if they do it right, I think that this is the biggest fight in boxing today.
This is what I think. If I was matchmakers, now they were playing matchmaker. This is what I would do. So you have the potential for a unification at 147 of all the belts if you do a little bit of a tournament. So I want to see him fight Haney next, but I'm thinking about all the money. If Ryan fights Rolly in a rematch and wins, Devin Haney fights Crocker next, and then at the end of the year, December, Ryan, should they both win, step in for all the belts in December. I think that would be huge. Not only would we would all get that fight, but then we would also get two big fights as the build up to that big fight at 147 unification. I think that would be if I was playing matchmaker, that's what I would do. Just because I feel like Devin Haney and Garcia is the big payoff. And that would be huge. That would be huge.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Are we censored on here? Can we curse?
No, you can say whatever you want. Yeah.
All right, so if is a little word that means a whole lot of shit. That's what I'm gonna say to that. You especially can put those guys out there with other opponents and things can go left. And you don't need them to go left right now. They're both on a winning trajectory. Seize the moment. Seize the moment. For Ryan to try to go get a rematch against Romero, which he didn't call Romero out after the fight in the post-fight conference. He didn't. So that's one thing. I think that's a mistake because I just think sometimes you meet an opponent that just has your number. Those guys have a history as well. They've sparred several times. So you could put that whole situation in jeopardy, trying to make them more money or trying to make, squeeze all the juice out of the lemon and you fuck around and crush the lemon itself. You understand what I'm saying? So I think now is the time. Seize the moment. Make the build up. If you need a couple extra months to promote even more, to bring in more casuals, I think that's it's worth it, because this is the biggest fight in boxing this year. Probably, well, we'll talk about that later in the show. But I think as of right now, this is the biggest fight in boxing. It has the most storyline. And once again, you got to think about the build up. You got to think about that. It's going to be crazy if Bill Haney gets on that stage and starts bringing up the PEDs, and that's the only reason why you beat my son the first. It's going to go crazy. Everyone's going to buy into that story, bro.
Right.
You know, you're going to have the hardcore Devin Haney fans that want to see, you know, some type of revenge. You're going to have the diehard Ryan Garcia fans who are just, they want to beat Haney so that they can feel vindicated on the first fight. You know what I'm saying? So I think the storyline is there. You just got to know how to wrap it up and sell it to the consumers, because I'm here for it. And I think Devin Haney wants all the smoke with Ryan Garcia right now.
Devin's never shied away from fights, and Ryan, same thing. They both call out the top guys. They're not calling out secondary guys. So yeah, I agree to the fact that we all want to see that fight. And
it's the biggest fight in boxing right now.
If you think that, I think it just really depends on what these guys want. Like, I mean, obviously they all want the money, but do they all want as many belts as possible and the money? And so that's the thing, is because Ryan, I think, could be in the 147 pound for like the next, both Ryan and Haney could probably make the 47 pound limit for the next 3 years easily with their size.
That's a possibility.
And
I think they still have to cut. I think they still have to cut. What do you think Ryan walks around at?
He's a big guy for 147. He probably walks around. We'll probably look it up, but he probably walks around 175 easily, 180. And I would think Haney the same thing. I mean, Haney is never out of shape. That's what I love about him. Dude, that dude is always training. And so he's a big guy too, though. Like, I mean, he packs on a lot of muscle. You could tell when he's on the scale that he's definitely dropped a lot of water weight. And then when he rehydrates, that guy, he's picking up 15 pounds.
He feels out. I agree.
And so they're both big guys. And so that's why I think being the 147 has always been like the premier division. Do it at 147 while they're both in their prime. And so they have that prime window right now.
My only reason for asking that question, their walk around rate, is because, you know, they're getting older now. So it's going to be harder to shed those last 10, especially those last 3-4 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So I think Haney's definitely going to head up to 154. I can't see him staying there for more than 2 years. I don't, because he's going to be, you know, grown man by then, a grown man. So I can see Haney finishing up at 160, 168.
Oh yeah. Definitely. What I love about their ages right now is they've had the build up and the experience of their early 20s. And now that they're in their late 20s, this is their prime. Like physically, if you look back at fighters, this is the prime. Like they're mentally, in terms of all of the combat that they've experienced, are right there. They have that experience. They have the training. Their bodies are the best that they're ever going to be. And to see these guys be able to go at it right now would be, I mean, you're going to get the best of both sides, given if Ryan keeps his mental side together. You know, there's
bro,
always
you have to take into consideration we're going to get 3 fights out of them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So they can get it on now. It's going to be the biggest fight ever. And no matter the outcome, they're going to have a rematch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we can possibly get 2 fights out of Ryan and Devin by the end of 2027.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then as this plays out and whoever wins, you still have Shakur, who is young enough where um, he's going to mature into 147, and so we'll see if he can step up. And he is much smaller than Devin and much smaller than Ryan, but at the same time, pound for pound, he's number one, number two in the world. And he's such a defensive oriented fighter to put him in the mix. Cause I mean, everybody wants to see that too. To put him in the mix once Devin and Ryan are through, he could definitely fight Garcia at 147 in a couple years.
Yeah.
You know,
I think he should continue to tread, make carve out his own path. Honestly, for him to get the Ryan fight before Devin, I think he's kind of skipping the line. I like the progress and the trajectory that he's on currently. However, I think that there are certain opponents out there that he can fight. Perhaps I think the money fight for him, if I'm in Shakur's corner, thank you. I'm pushing for your boy Tank Davis to come back on the scene. I want him because he's food. He looks like food right now. You know what I'm saying? Get him while he's coming back. That's the fight that I would be pushing for. If he's coming back, he's food. I don't think he wants any smoke with Keyshawn Davis. Did you see that leaked sparring footage?
No, I haven't seen that.
You need to check that out.
Well, Keyshawn, Devin said he would. I mean, Keyshawn's at 140. It's not much for him to make 147. And he's not a small 140. So they've been talking as well. I think it's a great fight either way, but it's just one of those fights where Keyshawn needs to build up a little bit.
I'm gonna tell you something, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. You come from up underneath this umbrella, you get wet. Keyshawn doesn't have the experience. He's good. He's talented. Really He's good. Probably one of the more talented fighters. However, Devin Haney's a dog. They call him Deep. What do you think about the new nickname? Debo Dev. I love it. I love it.
Actually, that's the first time I've heard it. I haven't heard his new nickname.
Yeah, Debo Dev, bro. I love it. So getting back with Keyshawn, I mean, the kid is talented. I think he's going to be one of the top pound for pound fighters in the near future. However, I don't think you want to challenge Devin Haney right now because you could win. He could, and it'll definitely make him a superstar. He'll be on top of the world, but he could lose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's no guarantee with that fight right there. That's not even, I don't think it's a 50-50 fight. I think it's more like 60-40, Dev.
Right. And then the rankings kind of show where he's at, right? The WBO, I've never agreed with the way they rank. But I think it ranks where he's at in terms of, what is he, 14 fights? He doesn't have a ton
fights in.
He doesn't have a lot of fights. So,
and I'm looking at this list right here. Sorry to cut you off, brother. I'm looking at this list right here, and he beats everyone on this list. Keyshawn does. He beats all. So why not just go?
Well, I don't know. Shakur fight. I think Shakur right now has.
They're not going to fight each other, so I'm kind of like exclude that fight.
Oh, okay.
They don't want to. They don't want to fight each other for some strange reason. But with that being said, he beats everyone on this list. Right. You know,
if I was in Shakur's position, man, I'd unify. My next fight would be Gary Russell.
Because I think he beats Gary Russell easily.
Same thing. Gary Russell. It's actually a good transition to talk about the Hiroka fight that he was on the co-main event for this. He had a lot of trouble with Andy, and a lot of people weren't expecting that. And I mean, Andy had no amateur career. So what you saw was either a man stepping up and outperforming. I mean, Japanese fighters, Americans don't see a lot of Japanese fighters, but Japanese fighters fight like Mexican fighters. They're dogs. They'll get in there and they love to go toe to toe. and he did, man, and he was hitting hard. Like, again, being there and seeing the reaction from Gary when he was taking the body shots. I think Andy, the first 4 rounds, on the scorecards, I think he won on 2 of the scorecards. He won the second round, and that I thought that was fair. But you could see the argument for him losing the first 4 rounds, and then he stepped it up. But Gary shouldn't have had trouble with him, you would think, and he did. He had a lot of trouble with him, and the scoring here. Let me pull up the scores. This is terrible scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, what you have 3 rounds, only winning 3 rounds. I just don't see that. I don't see how he only won 3 rounds. You can make an argument for 4, but I at least gave him 5 rounds. I thought the scoring was pretty biased. It just wasn't. It wasn't the fight that I was watching ringside, watching the reaction from the punches, and the judges are ringside. They could see the reactions from the punches. I rewatched the broadcast, and so the broadcasters were seeing it. They were seeing that it was a much closer fight than it was. And if Gary Russell had that much trouble with a relatively unknown fighter, I think that should be Shakur's next fight.
I don't know what the judges see. Sometimes I always have to question, you know what I'm saying? What are you really looking for? Like, what do you call, ring leadership, and how do you determine who's the most dominant fighter?
Right.
Are you judging it minute by minute? Is that what we're doing? The first minute? Oh, that Gary Russell's winning. Now your boy Andy's coming on the second minute. I don't understand how they go about coming up with their score. However, what I will say is that I wasn't unhappy with the decision, with the draw. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't.
No. It was the right fighter won. I agree with you on that. Gary won the fight. I just thought the scoring it didn't reflect what most people were watching, and that's the disappointing fight. That's a disappointing thing that we always have with boxing, is the judging.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been too upset with a draw. However, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. It just felt like watching that fight. It felt like Gary. He ran out of steam. He gassed out, and
body shots hurt.
And he somewhat picked it up in like the 9th or 10th round or something like that, maybe the 8th or 9th round.
It was the 10th round where he picked it up, and then going back to how they judge, he won the first 2 minutes of that round, and then Hirioka came on and was nailing him with hard shots. So it makes it a harder round to judge.
For sure. So I don't know, man. I think that Gary Russell, I like his attitude. I like his confidence. However, I just think that he has a few more fights before he can get in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. It's good to talk about when the camera's on, but to actually get in there, I think he'll be exposed. I think it's too soon. I don't even think that, I don't think it's a good fight for the Russells to take on Shakur right now. I think you let it marinate, get some more experience, get some more, get some synchronization with your corner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And maybe it'll be a more interesting fight in the near future. That's my assessment.
Yeah. Yeah. It is one of those things where if you're a world champion, I think the champion should be, in this 4-belt era, champions should be fighting champions. And so that division is just ripe for these guys to all fight. I think Gary against Isaac Cruz.
That's a good fight.
I think his style matches up very well against Pitbull, and he wins that fight. I know there's a lot of
Gary wins the fight.
I think Gary can win that fight because Pitbull has showed that if he is boxed, not toe to toe, but boxed, and Gary's able to move, Gary wins the fight. Yeah.
I don't think Gary's that much of a mover. That's the issue that we have with the last opponent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what gave him, his challenges throughout that matchup. I think that, he's better on the front leg, on the front foot.
Yeah.
And he, the later the fight goes, I think that his technique is compromised the later the fight goes.
If he's able to keep Isaac away from his body, which is obviously
very, very hard to do. He's already in your chest.
The way he's built, his stature, how short he is, he puts his head right in your chest and then just starts digging into the body.
It's difficult to do.
So we'll see. I mean, more than likely, it'll be Smith Cruz next because the interim. But we'll see. We'll see on that. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about, as all boxing heads eventually get to, we talk about the landscape of boxing. There's a lot of moving parts. We've got Zuffa in the mix now. What do you think about? Let's start off with Zuffa. What do you think about having Zuffa in the mix? And have you had the opportunity to watch any of their shows? And what do you think?
I think I've seen one or two shows, and not in its entirety. It's too early for me to give a fair assessment. I think some of the things that they're about, I agree with. We have to see how this plays out. It's too early. I don't know much about them. This is a new thing that they're starting up where, the best have to fight the best. I think boxing, honestly, right now is in a good position. Boxing is in a great space right now. I don't know what happens with the Zuffa. That's almost like throwing another expansion team in the NBA right now. We don't know how this is going to work out for our coast. You know what I'm saying? For our division. So It's too early to assess. I know that Conor Ben just signed with him, like you said, for a one-fight deal. I don't know the ins and outs of the, behind the curtains of that deal. But I think that they have the landscape right now to make a big splash. If they sign one or two fights back to back, they can make a big splash, So we'll see.
That's the thing is, I feel like they backed themselves in a corner. One, because they say they don't want to fight anybody else. They want to build their own fights. They want to have their own little league within boxing. They want to have their own Zuffa belt, which they do now. They say all that, but then they go out and sign Conor Ben to a $15 million one-fight deal.
That's
now,
crazy.
I think they're setting themselves up for a little legal trouble with the UFC side, because could you imagine if you're on the UFC and you're filling arenas, you're selling out arenas, and you're getting 300,000 people watching your fights? Now with Paramount, I haven't seen the numbers on Paramount yet, but obviously it's included, right? So there's no more, the pay-per-view goes away and it's just included. You have guys that name one UFC guy that has made an 8-figure paycheck in the life of the UFC, and Conor Ben's okay. Like, I would never see him, like, at the end of his career. I can't see him being, he doesn't have the talent of a Shakur. He's a guy that they paid $15 million for one fight. And it goes against everything that you just said in the build-up to building Zuffa. And you know what? You got the money. God bless you. You have the money. You've got Turkey. Turkey's a partner with you. They're going to throw a lot of money at it. And that's all great. But you're an organization that also is part of the UFC that pays the UFC guys very little compared to boxers. And then you bring them in you sign something that goes contrary to everything that you set up. And then what does Ben have? Like, what does Conor? Who does he fight on the Zuffa in a championship? Like, can you see? Like, he just took away a Devin Haney fight. He just took away a Ryan Garcia fight. He just took away. I mean, he's in the 140-pound division. You just took away all those guys to fight because they're not going to come over and fight for Zuffa. They have contracts.
That's the reason why I said that. I alluded to that they can make a splash if they sign 1 or 2 fights. Right. I don't know if it's too early in the show. Well, we're 46 minutes in right now, so no need to really hold up the grand finale for nothing. I think that Conor Ben, his very next fight is going to be against Floyd Money Mayweather. That's what I believe is what they're doing. I think they're going to sign that fight, and I think they're going to sign the Floyd Pacquiao rematch, hopefully. And that's how they're going to make their big splash. And
I don't think Floyd, based off of PBC, that still won't play with Turkey, that still has their own platform on Amazon, is going to play. I don't think they're going to play. They haven't played so far. And I think Mayweather is going to be on Mayweather Promotions with the PBC. And he's going to.
Floyd, so I'm sorry to interject. Floyd is still contractually obligated to PBC?
No, not at all. But who owns PBC? Who's the main guy? Who's his boy? Right?
Oh.
But those guys are
they're having legal negotiations going on right now. So I would say that loyalty or that friendship is going to be placed aside. Floyd's trying to get the bag again.
Yeah, but Floyd doesn't need Zuffa. They need him. And so exactly. How much are you going to pay him, knowing that he made $250 million off the last Pacquiao fight? Is he going to make that much? No, but God knows what the Netflix is paying these guys. Plus, you're talking a minimum of $2,000 a ticket at the Sphere. I mean, Sphere makes everything bigger. It's just the way it is with that. I mean, every band wants to play there. They're doing movies that are making $2 million a day. It just makes the event bigger, and it's the only way really to recoup the kind of money that both these guys want at their age. I mean, Floyd's 49, Manny's 47. 46, 47. It's the perfect setup. Fight at the Sphere, have ridiculous ticket prices, and then do it on Netflix that pays ridiculous money for live events. Ridiculous money. So they don't really need another dance partner. Manny, MP Promotions, or whatever Manny's promotion is now, and Mayweather Promotions, they don't need another dance partner. That's it.
I think that Zuffa, if they do approach Floyd, they want to sign him for a multiple fight deal. I don't think they want to do a one-off. It's not smart for them to do a one-off.
Well, they did the Conor Ben one-off for $15 million, and I was blown away. Like, Conor, really?
Because they have intentions of putting him in there with a mega superstar, Floyd Mayweather. If that fight gets signed, then what Conor Ben's portion is going to be minimum considered to what they're going to have to offer Floyd and what they're going to receive on the return. Because like you said it yourself, the ticket price is going to be through the roof. Conor Ben has a whole country that's going to come over and support him and want to be a part of this fight, because they're going to figure, like, if he wins, he's going to make history. He's going to be the first Brit, or the first person, not alone him being a Brit, to defeat and decrown Floyd Money Mayweather. They're going to come over to want to see that. You know how Floyd draws them in. I think the buildup is going to be crazy. And then you're going to talk about placing it on Netflix. Everyone's going to see this fight. It's going to be crazy. And then when Floyd comes out and spanks that Brit's ass, then they're going to talk about Manny Pacquiao, and they're going to bring him in the ring. And that's going to be the second fight. I think they sign him to a 3-fight deal if they're smart.
Well, see, no, the Pacquiao fight is already done.
Is it with PBC?
It's with Mayweather and Manny Promotions right now.
Okay. So
I'm sure. What
they
is
still
it?
can have room for a co-promoter, yes?
They don't need a
No,
co-promoter. They've
you
already
don't think
got.
so?
They've already got. I mean, Mayweather Promotion. He has his promotional license, and Manny has his promotional license. You got two promoters right there.
I just know that in the past, whenever Mayweather would use Mayweather Promotions, it's always on the tail end of like a Golden Boy Promotions. It's always on the tail end of.
It's TCB boxing. Typically handles the logistics side of it, so any of the fight week stuff. So that's the I don't think any of the they need a logistics guy, which is what TCB will do. But other than that, they don't need
like who's talking to the networks on behalf of Money Mayweather Promotions and Pacquiao Promotions. Where's the fight?
The deal's done. So it's done already. I mean, it's already been announced. So here it is, September 19th at the Sphere. It's already been Netflix has already picked it up.
I didn't know this. I didn't know that it was already a done deal.
Yeah, it's done deal. Yeah, it's been announced. It's they even have the key art all ready to go.
Man, you gotta love it.
So
there's so much money.
They both have exhibition bouts coming up. Yeah. So Floyd is going to get Tyson bout, right? Yeah, he's got the Tyson, and then Provodnikov is going to get in with Pacquiao for an exhibition fight, which is obviously not going to mess with the main Mayweather and the Mayweather. Like I said, the Mayweather Pacquiao 2 that nobody was at the fight that nobody was asking for. 49 and 47. They're already in the black because of the venue and Netflix. They don't even have to worry about selling pay-per-views. It's done.
It's going to
100%. 100% at a minimum $2,000 a ticket. 17,000 plus. I think it holds 17,600 something. They said it can hold up to 20,000 with standing room. And obviously they'll put seats in there. So maybe it gets to 18,000 at a minimum, 2,000 a seat. You're talking 5,000 up to 5,000. Well, I think the first time they fought, tickets were going for like 25,000, 50,000 front row. I mean, I don't think it's going to go at that, but there's also inflation to take into consideration. So you're talking casinos coming in and buying $25,000 front row, ringside tickets. They've already each made 8 or 9 figure salaries off of this fight coming up. So
yeah, with the seating at $2,000 per seat, that's the minimum, right? For 17,000 people, that's 34 mil right there, bro.
Right.
That's crazy.
And everyone's gonna get on board. Everybody's tearing it down right now, but as that fight gets closer, everyone's gonna get on board because Mayweather's gonna do what he does, and he's gonna get everyone interested because the man is the number 1 pound per pound marketing guy ever in boxing.
He's going to sell this fight. I'm going to want to see it. I didn't ask for it, but it's like an early Christmas present for me.
Nobody asked for it, but everybody's going to watch it.
So what do you see? What do you see Mayweather going? Let's say if he has a 3 fight. Where is he going after this fight?
I mean, he has. So both of these guys have to fight, unfortunately, because they need the money. And that's the reality of it. So could Mayweather do another? I mean, at 49, the guy doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, never done drugs. He's always stayed in shape. At 49, Mayweather's in a lot better shape than most people. So he's going to get in there. He's probably going to look just as good. I think that, I mean, he's age is you can't beat time. He's not as fast just because he neither is Manny. But on Manny's best day, Mayweather still beats him. It's just styles make fights, and Mayweather is his style will beat Manny's style any day of the week. It's just the way it is. Now, I've known Manny. I worked for Top Rank during the height of his career. Am I pulling for Manny? Yeah, because I know Manny. Beyond that, it would be a surprise to me if Manny won the fight, even at their ages now.
I think Floyd wins. I think it'll be a closer fight this time around. However, I've created a list for Floyd. He needs to listen to me. We can make some money off this list.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'm going to go with 5 fights.
5? Right? Wow.
5.
So you're talking possibly out to 53, 54.
No, 50. Well, let's say
52. No, I'm talking age. His age, because he's 49, right? So 5 fights, you're talking.
He's 48. I believe he's 48.
Okay. Well, 48, 49.
Yeah. All right. If he is 49, let's just go with 49. Because he'll have a fight coming up, right? The Pacquiao fight is in September. So let's say he has a somewhat of a light touch, right? I would feed him Conor Ben. That would be his first fight. He has to win these fights now, Armando.
Okay.
He has to win these fights. I would say Conor Ben is a good look for his comeback fight. He'll beat Conor Ben, I believe. It'll be an ugly fight because Conor, he's a dog somewhat, but I think Floyd's speed and reaction and just his knowledge of his overall boxing game will be superior to Conor Ben. He does the rematch with Manny Pacquiao, right? They're going to pay crazy money. You already see the numbers, right? He has to beat Manny Pacquiao. Once he beats Manny Pacquiao, I think he should call out Tank Davis. Everybody, their mama, uncle, and auntie will want to see that fight. They would. I know it's a far-fetched, but I'm just strategically speaking here. I think these are the best fights for him. He'll beat Tank Davis because Tank
is right. So little. I mean, for him to come up to 147 is difficult, right?
He did it once before, right?
What would he fought at 142 against Ryan with the rehydration clause?
Yeah, so it'll be a catch weight. Floyd will do that, and he'll come in overweight just to have the advantage over his former stablemate. So that's three fights, right? I think that if Tank Davis, if you're saying that he's too small, too little, then he needs to fight Ryan. He needs to fight Ryan that third fight.
Oh, so that would be huge. That would be huge.
The Tank Davis fight is huge as well. Right. But if you want to keep that, because the Mexican, Black, African American, that always makes a great fight. Everybody comes out and supports. You have both demographics. Right. So let's go back over the list. So we say Conor Ben number 1, Pacquiao number 2, Ryan Garcia number 3, Canelo rematch number 4. Oh my goodness. Canelo rematch number 4. He's gonna
actually that would probably, if I was I would move after Pacquiao fight because that's done. I would do Canelo next.
No way. No, you gotta get.
Canelo's on the downslide. It's perfect timing. It's perfect timing.
But you gotta get one of those young lions because what's gonna happen is once Floyd comes back and he fights Manny Pacquiao and he wins, they're gonna say, "Well, we expected you to do that. You're one of the best." But you know what I'm saying? The talk is gonna be there. And then what he has to do is he has to dethrone one of the kings right now. You know what I'm saying? Ryan, right. King Rye. That's perfect. That's gonna be a mega fight, bro. I'm talking about Conor Ben Floyd numbers. I'm talking about Floyd Canelo first matchup. Those numbers. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah. I think that's a good fight. Then he goes after Canelo Alvarez for the rematch. That's fight number 4, bro. He's already at 2 billion. He's already at 2 billion. And then the last and final fight. Are you ready for this? Terrence Bud Crawford.
Ooh, You'd have to pay Terrence a boatload of money to come out of retirement, man.
But I think he will be more willing to do it because he can finally put an end to all of the speculation about who would win in a fight against he and Floyd Mayweather.
So as a fan, that's what you want to see. Now let me play devil's advocate. Floyd has always been good about matchmaking himself in a way that doesn't get a guy who's in their prime, or puts it in a way where there's clauses to give himself the advantage. The question is, will these current generation guys do that?
Yes, because every basketball player today would love to be able to play one-on-one against Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, but it's a little different when you're getting punched in the face.
Yeah, for sure. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to take that oath. You want to be the one to say that I dethroned the great Floyd Money Mayweather.
Well, I'm just thinking that the power, his power that he had when he was at the top of the game, to be able to set the terms, will it be as easy? Because I'll give you an example. Mayweather Pacquiao won. Pacquiao tore his rotator cuff in his shoulder during camp. He didn't spar because he was injured. He asked the commission, and the commission was okay with it, was to get injections to deaden the pain when he fought Floyd. Floyd comes in and says no, doesn't give him. So he makes Manny fight with the pain. Now, I would say no problem with that. But Floyd, given that he's always had hand issues, was always allowed to get injections in his fists to deaden the pain. So because he was Floyd got that advantage, and fighters allowed him to have that advantage because they wanted those paydays. Does Floyd have that advantage anymore with the commission? Does Floyd have that advantage with the fighters? I don't know at 49, 50, once he gets past Pacquiao, and then he's now closer to 50, will a Canelo, who's established himself as the face of boxing prior to getting beat by Terrence Crawford, will he give anything? Because Canelo's 168. He's not coming back down. So Mayweather would have to go up. Or you would have to pay Canelo $300+ million for him to come down to 160. But I can't. Canelo can't come down to 54. Floyd could probably go up maybe 157, 160 max. And so how do you make those numbers work with the commissions, with the other? I mean, Canelo's his own man when he wasn't. What did he fight him when he was 21, 22? Canelo wasn't his own man yet. Floyd can make the terms. Now Canelo is his own man. Like, can you at your age have stepped away, make the terms work in your favor anymore? I don't know. I think now you step in. This is Canelo's going to come in and dictate terms because he's going to feel he's earned it. Whether it works out or not, Canelo's going to feel he's earned that. Right.
All right. Allow me to rebuttal. So one thing that you have to take into consideration when dealing with Floyd Money Mayweather is that the legacy's there. He already has that carrot. He has a carrot. He has the incentive to every fighter that we just named. There's an incentive there for them to say, all right, I'll give you this, but when I beat you, I'll be the man dictating from here on out. That's the same thing that Devin Haney did with going up against George Kambosos. Kambosos dictated both fights. Mm-hmm. Even after he lost the first fight, he still dictated the terms in the second fight because there was an incentive there for Devin Haney. He took low pay. He had to go to his backyard, yada, 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 all just so that I can get that belt and say that I'm unified now. I'm undisputed. And even I'll give up some of my purse on the second time around because after I beat you the second time around, I'm going to be the man. Right. Everyone's going to have that incentive in the back of their head. So even when it comes to the great Canelo, yes, he will come in with some demands, but at the end of the day, he's going to say, I'm going to make a shitload of money. And two, I get to get my revenge.
Right. At the same time, let me come back and say, at the same time, he's already got his money locked in with Turkey. He's got a 3-fight deal. He's got, what was it? Some stupid money. I think he got what 200 million for the first fight against Terrence. I think he's got another 400 million on the table, something like that, for 2 more fights. I just think Canelo doesn't have much left in him. I mean, I feel like, based on the past 2 years, he's probably got one more good fight in him, and then a big payday at the end, if they match him up properly.
He wants the rematch against Terrence Crawford, right?
Yeah, but Crawford's done. I really feel he's
why
done.
does he want that rematch?
Because it's a big payday, and it's a get back.
Get back.
Right.
For him,
it just makes sense because who else is there? He can't fight Benavidez. Benavidez would beat him.
But that was before the landscape of boxing changed. For him to retire and say, I fought Floyd Mayweather and I finally beat him, bro, he'll jump at that opportunity.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm just Floyd is not going to be able to dictate the terms like he used to at his age. Canelo, like you use the example of Haney. Haney is not Canelo. Canelo is, a 8-figure payday fighter, and who was the face of boxing since Floyd left. So it's just one of those things where, yeah, he'll get back, but his attitude, just based off of watching him, is like, I'm the man, I dictate the terms. And going back the history of boxing, that's the way it's always been. Everybody who's the man, who's the number one money maker in the sport, dictates terms. So can they fight? Yes. Would I like to see them fight? Yes. I just think that Floyd is not going to have the advantage on setting terms that he used to have.
I think it's a good argument, but at the end of the day, my rebuttal is it's that carrot, bro, because it all depends on how this Floyd Mayweather Pacquiao fight turns out. If it's a banger and everybody's talking about it, Floyd's the new face of boxing.
I think that's the key right there, is however that fight turns out. I think we have to see, we're talking at the time that they step in, you're talking 49, 47. That's, we don't know. We can guess. We don't know what they're going to give us.
We got to see. If Floyd comes in, and let's say both of these guys are in the best shape of their lives, and it starts looking like, oh man, Floyd kind of still has it, and he wipes the mat with Pacquiao, we're going to want to know what he looks like in there with today's champion. That's how it's going to get rolling.
Right. Oh, and I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you on that. That all the boxing heads are going to be like, oh wow, let's play matchmaker like we're doing. And I think with anyone else, he can dictate terms. I just think with Canelo, it's going to be one of those things where Canelo is not going to come down to 154 pounds because he can't physically at his age. Floyd is going to have to make concessions in order to go up, because it's just one of those things where he physically cannot come down to that weight class anymore.
So so we get him at a catch weight, right? And let's say that Canelo, he wants to dictate terms that Floyd doesn't agree with. You honestly think that Canelo Alvarez is going to allow Floyd to return back to boxing, become the face once again, and him not to try to get back and get his justification of the first loss? Because I was too young, I was too inexperienced, I was this, I was that. All the excuses that we've heard over the years. You mean to tell me he's going to not fight Floyd Money Mayweather in one of the biggest fights that could possibly be made in the sport of boxing? Even bigger than Terrence Crawford, even bigger than the Floyd first fight that he had. Bro, he would not let that opportunity elude him.
Any money, if the money is big enough, any fighter will get in with anybody. That's just the reality of the economy that we live in. That being said, you have to look at Canelo and all the money he's made, if it gets to the point, I mean, look at the terms that how many times like Turkey, someone insulted him and threw out money, and Canelo was just like, okay, like I don't care. I'm gonna do what I do, and when I talk to you, I talk to you. If I don't, because you have to imagine. I mean, you're getting paid eight figure money all this time. I just feel like the negotiations are going to be at okay. Let me give you a little. Let me give you a little insight of the first Canelo fight. So I could probably talk. I mean, it's no big deal now. Canelo was talking with Canelo was talking with Top Rank at the time. He was going to leave. He was going to leave Golden Boy, and go to Top Rank. And the deal was almost done. And this is 20. I think he was 22 when this happened. The deal was almost done. Floyd comes along and goes, "I want to fight you." The deal was because Floyd was still under the Golden Boy, or he was using Golden Boy to do his fight cards at that point. That he had to sign a multi-fight deal with Golden Boy. Boom, deal done. Canelo hops, because who doesn't want to fight Floyd with all the reasons we've been talking about? And that was a young 22. Now what is he? 35? 30? No, he's 37. Isn't he 37? He's up there. He's past 35. Made hundreds of millions. I mean, close to $1 billion in the sport of boxing. That really believes that he is the man. Like you watch an interview, talk to him, he knows he's the shit. I think at the end of the day, kind of like Terrence Crawford, it's like, I can take it or leave it at this point because I'm so ungodly wealthy. He doesn't need the money like Floyd needs it.
All right. I feel you. I hear you. He sleeps on silk sheets. He's walking around on alligators. I get it. Everything's platinum, silverware. I get it. At the end of the day, when he lays down, he replays that fight in his head every now and again. He does. He thinks about things that he could have done better. Even the Terrence Crawford fight, you can't tell me it doesn't. It's like a carousel in his memory bank every night when he lays down. You can't.
Well, that's why he keeps on asking for it.
You can't tell me that he won't jump at this opportunity. At first, yeah, he'll come in like I'm the man, but you just lost your last fight. You understand what I'm saying? And you want to be vindicated. You don't want to go out and retire, coming back, losing to a Terrence Crawford, then fighting some guy that nobody really wants to see you fight another guy nobody wants to see you fight. You want to go out on a high note. I know you do, because I'm a former athlete. You want to go out on a high note. That Floyd Mayweather fight, for him to beat Floyd Money Mayweather finally, bro, you can't tell me it won't feel like his whole career has just been on another trajectory. We'll forget about the first fight. We'll probably forget about the Terrence Crawford loss. We'll forget about the Bivol loss. You know we would. Right. If he beats Mayweather, man, in Mexico, they'll have a parade for like a month straight in Mexico alone. Trust me on that. You understand? I'm not. Yeah. So I just think that I get it. He's the man, and he wants to come in and dictate. I just think at the end of the day, when Floyd Mayweather is sitting on the other side of the table and those contracts have been laid out and you see the numbers on the paper, and all you have to do is do this one little thing that Floyd wants, you're gonna say, all right, Floyd, you can have that, because I know I'm going to beat you this time. And he's back in the ring. Floyd has given everyone the green print, baby. That's why they call him Money Mayweather. He's given everyone the green print. And that's the way, that's the reason why I'm saying to myself, like the whole Zuffa thing, if they were to sign Floyd Money Mayweather to like a multi-fight deal, bro, that would be their splash. That would be their in. It won't be any controversy. And for you to tell me that the deal's already done, they kind of missed out on the opportunity, if you ask me. But who am I?
I mean, at their levels, they don't need a Zuffa. They don't need an up and comer. They are the game. And they're going to prove it again with the amount of money that they're going to make. Come the end of the year. I think the Canelo fight lines up perfectly with the Mayweather Pacquiao fight, in that Canelo is going to fight in September. So then you've got these guys they're fighting relatively close together. So if Mayweather beats Pacquiao, which is more than likely, then it lines up for Mayweather Canelo to be the second fight. And I know all these other guys are going to want to, there's going to be a lot of posturing to get in line to fight. But really, I would think for the biggest money, in the biggest money for Floyd and the biggest money for Canelo, that would be their next fight, or that would be Mayweather's next fight.
So you think he's back? So you think he's back for 3 fights?
I think he's going to try and get as much money as possible, no matter what. And the Canelo fight would bring that. He's just going to have to figure a way to go up in weight, because Canelo has said many times he can't come down anymore. I mean, if you see him, he's a big guy, and he's actually short, but he's broad. And to come down at his age, I can't see him
at 160.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 162 if he kills himself to get there. But at their ages,
that's what I mean. Floyd's going to have the upper hand one way or another. He'll
at their ages. Well, no, I mean, because Floyd, that would be the heaviest Floyd's ever fought, and so that doesn't give him an advantage, and that's one of the things he's always been good at, is being able to give himself some physical advantage in the way he negotiates deals.
It'll be a mental advantage for him, just knowing that he had Canelo at the age 37, 38 years old, having to drain his body to get down to 160, even though you can rehydrate, and they'll still probably have some conspicucies within the rehydration clause.
Yeah, so I see it at 160. I cannot see Canelo come down to 160. I just can't. Like, no matter, for all the money in the world, like, that's
the beautiful thing about this sport, bro. It's the wild, wild west. You know what I'm saying? At one moment, we can't see something happening, and then before you know it, those same 2 people are fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's true. That's true.
So if it's a 3-fight plan, not to just dwell on this, but Floyd's my guy. If it's a 3-fight plan, then Pacquiao, Canelo, Terrence. Right. That's for all the marbles, baby.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see if Terrence is willing to. I don't know. Terrence, I just can't see. That guy is so good with his money. He's made so much money. But we'll see. I mean, I think Floyd gets smoked by Canelo. I mean, by Crawford, but at his age. But what do I know at this point?
Would you want to see it?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because I would love, because Terrence is my guy. Like, Terrence is like, to me, he's one of the greatest champions. And I was very disappointed that PBC screwed him over the way they did at the 147-pound weight division, because he could have run through all those guys twice and without a problem. And they never let him. They never let him, except for Spence, and he would have run through them all, and he would have been 3-time undisputed. But Top Rank at the time didn't control the belts. PBC did, and they weren't letting him have them. So the fact that when Terrence got in there and beat Canelo, he got his respect from. He always had mine, because I watched him from when he was a prospect coming up. I knew he was a talent, and I knew that he would run through the 147-pound division if they let him. And so for him to go out on top, beating Canelo and showing how great he is, for him to step back in and fight Mayweather, I think he would do it if the money was right. But I think he seems to, from the interviews, to be like, yeah, I did what I proved that I was the best of my generation, given the circumstances that the PBC put him under, to not win all the belts at 147. So, to beat Floyd, yeah, I think he would make concessions if they paid him 250, 300 million to come out of retirement. Maybe yeah, 350. That kind of stupid money to beat Floyd, and I think he would beat Floyd. I think a 35-year-old Terrence beats a 50-year-old Mayweather.
That would be a very interesting fight. I wouldn't want to see it, but I would watch it. But you know, if I'm Floyd Money Mayweather and I'm coming out of retirement because I'm once again going after the bag, and I have this mental regimen that I have at least 3 good fights left, those would be my 3. If you want to extend it out and give me 5 fights, I've already given you my list of 5.
Right.
And I can't see how he doesn't walk away from the game once again for the 3rd time, you know, a multi-billionaire just off this last leg but he has to win. You know what I'm saying? He has to win. And I think a older Floyd Mayweather is still better than a good champion today that we consider an elite champion today.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
That's what's so interesting about the whole concept, the whole idea of him rematching Pacquiao, Canelo, and then stepping him up to Mount Everest and taking on the mighty Bud Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? So I can see it all happening.
For him to risk that yes, that would be like Mayweather is just. I mean, Mayweather is what he is in terms of like where he stands in the echelon of the sport of boxing. He's one of the best ever. But that carrot to protect that he likes to dangle, you know, that, does he really want to give, like, to me, if he was to fight Terrence, that is an actual real risk of losing that because I mean, obviously anybody can get knocked out at any given time. So can Manny beat him under those circumstances? Yes. But chances are he won't. I don't think Canelo, depending on the weight, because Canelo's on the backside of his career and it shows, can beat Floyd. But Terrence at 36, 37, who didn't take a lot of damage, who's never been knocked down, defensive oriented fighter, but who is aggressive, and that would be a real risk for Mayweather, and that would have to be, you're talking $600 million in purse for those guys. It would have to be that $600-700 million purses for Floyd to risk that. To really risk that which that would be against Terrence.
Someone would come up with the money to see that fight and pay it.
Oh, Turkey's got it. You know, they print money right out of the ground. So or they take money right out of the ground.
That's what I mean. So it sounds far-fetched only because of right now. But in the near future, once Floyd gets this, because the talks, you know, people starting to talk already. Once the talk becomes, yeah, you see what I'm saying? Once this conversation grow legs, you know what I'm saying? The next time we revisit this, it'll probably be like, well, they're in negotiations. We would never think in a million years they would be in negotiations.
Right.
But we'll see, man. That's the beautiful thing about the sport. One thing I will say is that you kind of answered my question that I was going to ask. You do think that a 47, 48-year-old Floyd Mayweather will, in fact, beat today Canelo at this point?
Yeah, Canelo, his skill set, he still has his defensive. He's not as good defensively, but he is dangerous, right? But you can see as he's aged, his offense has just taken steps back, and I mean, throwing that left hook and the right hook to the body is all he's got. And I don't see a consistent jab. It just, you know, jabbing to get on the inside, head movement, none of that's there. The feet are starting to go. Like Canelo is an old fighter regardless. You know, he's old in age for a fighter, but he's really old with the amount of fights that he's had. I mean, you're talking a guy who stepped in as a professional at 15 years old. You know, he's got a ridiculous amount of fights, and it's showing. I don't think even if he fought Terrence again, I think it would be worse. He just doesn't. The bot, like he even said it. He even said it as the body. He just his body. He knew what he wanted to do, but his body wasn't doing it. He's hit that point. And so if he fights a full, there's no chance. He just doesn't. His body doesn't read anymore, and that's just age. That's just age. There's just nothing.
It's weird because Floyd is like how many years? How many years older is Floyd compared to Canelo?
Well, Canelo's what, 37, and Floyd's 49, so he's 11 years older than him, 10 years or 12 years older than him. So, but Mayweather is not a damaged fighter. He never has been. He's barely taken any solid punches. I mean, you could actually count on one hand how many solid punches Floyd's taken to the face, and that's it. So, yeah, the damage, the wars that Canelo has been in, the punches that he's taken, it just adds up. And then you got to remember too, these guys spar. I mean, he's been competitively sparring since he was a 10 years old, turned pro at 15, sparring, older men in their 20s since he was a young kid. There's not much left physically. And I'm like, when they signed a 3-fight deal, I mean, obviously he's going to take it because it's the money, but like from a business perspective, who can he fight that he can still win at 168 pounds? I just don't see him having it anymore. Could be
That's
wrong.
A good question.
Could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Do you have the list for the 168 pounds really quick?
Yeah, I could pull it up. Let's see. 168 pounds is a competitive division. So let's see.
I have it right here. So just really quick going over this list, right? I don't know a lot of these guys, bro. I haven't seen much of anything from a lot of these guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I just wanted to scroll down.
And Billy's a good fight for Canelo. I think he could probably walk away with a victory there. Martinez, they just actually had a fight, and Billy and Martinez, they're going to run that fight back, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Diego Pacheco, Banks. Yeah, I don't know a lot of these guys, bro, to be honest with you, at 168. So he could possibly find a fight here or there that's not too damaging. I don't think he wants to jump in there with Billy because he's going to bring the fight to Canelo.
Right. And a lot of the 160 pounders went up to light heavy because Canelo just wouldn't fight him, and so it's pretty much an open division. I mean, obviously when Terrence retired, those belts are vacant, so Canelo will come back fighting for something. So if he's going to fight for the WBO, Shiraz, I believe.
I don't think he wants any part of Shiraz.
I mean, the WBO would be hard pressed to give Canelo that fight if he's not going to fight him. And then, so what else do you have? The vacant IBF. Man, there's not much there. So
it's going to have for him to continue on with his boxing career. He's going to have to have, you're going to have to almost like custom make him a fight. It's got to be outside of the traditional lines of boxing, meaning, maybe his next fighter won't be at 168. Maybe his next fight will be a Floyd Mayweather. They'll probably serve somebody like a, I don't know.
Well, I believe he's going to fight. I believe he's going to fight in Saudi Arabia. So
who was his opponent going to be?
That I don't know. I mean, it's a tough. If you're on Team Canelo and you're trying to pick your next opponent, it's actually tough to get a legitimate guy. I mean, so the money's guaranteed, right? You need a comeback fight. Yeah. They're going to get you a belt. I mean,
but against who?
Would it be on them to run back a Munguia? I don't think so.
Munguia, nobody wants to see that.
I know, but the thing is, the money's already paid. Like, it's a guarantee.
They're going to lose big. I mean, sometimes
I can't see how Turkey's made money at all off of the way they spend. And so, why start now?
Like you said, they got that money coming out the ground, but maybe you want to set the standards for this new Zuffa fighting. You know what I'm saying? You want to set new standards for your investors. I can't see them having him bring back somebody that he's already dealt, he's already beat. I can't see a Munguia. I can't see a Caleb Plant. I can't see something like that. Like, it has to be someone either that we want to see him fight, like a Shiraz. He doesn't want any part. He doesn't want smoke with him. Canelo will get knocked out, and that'll be end of the money train. So it has to be a fighter that nobody knows of. Maybe a Charlo, younger Charlo. That's the only person I can see him coming back with a light touch. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't Jamal have a fight coming up?
I'm uncertain. I know he announced that he's back in action, but I don't know if he's found an opponent yet. At one point, he was calling out Earl. The next point, he was calling out Terrence. They're all over the place right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I don't think he's on the schedule. I mean, you got Thurman, that's what, 54 against Fundora, which I don't think he's going to win.
You don't think Thurman's going to win that fight?
No, man. Fundora's a pain in the ass fighter. I mean, he's very tall and he's very lanky, and he likes to fight on the inside. But those last fights surprised me. He fought on the outside and looked good. And Thurman. I mean, how much is left? He's another one where he's so inconsistent. How are you going to put your best fight on when you take so much time out of the ring?
Yeah, but he doesn't have the wear and tear that a lot of these fighters have. He's had a few injuries, and he's set out for surgery repair. But other than that, he hasn't had a very damaging career.
No.
So that may work in his favor.
You see any fights that you like coming up this year?
Let's see. Let's go back.
Let's see. So we got the February, not much left there. Navarrete Nunez fight should be pretty exciting fight for the little guys.
Nothing really in.
Well, the Barboza fight and Sims, that's a decent card because there's a lot of world title fights on it. Let's see. Yeah,
so I like the Fortuna Thurman fight. I will tune in for that one.
And it's on Prime, so I like their broadcast. They actually did a good job.
Okay, cool. Prime Video pay-per-view, yeah. When is the...
I'm going to watch the Deontay Wilder fight. I think that's a mistake for Wilder, but,
It's April 4th. That's going to be on the DAZN pay-per-view.
In London.
I'm going to put my money on Wilder because that's my guy.
He's another one. I don't think there's anything left.
I know. I'm hoping for the best with him.
I don't know why he just didn't fight Joshua. I think that's a doable fight. Like, why have a warm-up fight? Just go fight Joshua, man.
But Joshua, I think they wanted to do the Joshua Tyson Fury fight, right?
Yeah, they were talking about that too. So, but it would have been I think the Joshua fight would have been ideal for Deontay.
Yeah, the only thing that I can really say that's on my radar is the Fortuna Thurman fight, right? Which happens Saturday, March 28th. That's on Prime, like you said, Prime pay-per-view. And then April 4th, we have the Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora heavyweight fight, 10 or 12 round. Never made up there.
I think Chisora is going to demolish him. I don't want to see that.
You think he's going to demolish him?
Yeah.
Demolish.
Deontay's looks so bad. He's looked so bad. Like not even like I just he should have gone. And they must be paying him a lot, which is good. But he should have just gone and fought Joshua and been done with it and walk away.
And then, of course, September 19th. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Before that, though, the fight, it's the Cinco de Mayo weekend is the Ramirez-Benavidez fight. That's going to be I think Benavidez beats him, but it's still going to be a good fight. So,
yeah, I already know how that's going to play out. So
right. But Ramirez is the champion, so we'll see.
Benavidez is a pit bull in the ring, bro.
Oh yeah.
I don't see him losing anytime soon. The competition.
No.
I think he'll retire undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big guy, man. I don't see anybody up there that can, unless he comes back down to light heavy.
Yeah, I want to see him with Bivol or your boy. What's your boy name?
Which one?
Bivol just fought him in the rematch.
Oh, for light heavyweight, then you've
got
better beef, but I don't know. Let's see. He can come back down. I think it's really disappointing that Bivol didn't want to fight him. Better Beef was open to it, but he was pissed that he didn't get the Bivol fight, the third fight, which I thought was ridiculous. I mean, that fight should have happened already.
Yeah, I think that was his talking point. Yes, he didn't want to accept the Benavidez fight until he settled up with, Yeah,
but Bivol went off and did his own thing anyway. So,
yeah,
So I think he's just getting tired. Benavidez is another one who's been in that position to where he's had the ability to be a superstar if he would get the fights that he needed to become a superstar, but that Canelo fight never came to fruition. And
I mean, you got to thank Canelo for that. Canelo held that man up for how long?
100%. Never allowed himself to step in the ring. Which I mean,
if it wasn't for Turkey, he would have held up that Terrence Crawford fight as well. Am I lying?
Right. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because they paid him so much money that he's gonna. Okay, well, let's do this. Right? Because he was shooting that fight down.
Man, big time.
But it was actually, I mean, it lined up well for him because it was a smaller guy coming up, and it looked competitive at times. It looked competitive, and I never even questioned that. I never thought Canelo would win that fight just because Terrence was that much better.
A lot of people did. I remember people saying that he shouldn't take that fight and it's not fair and Terrence shouldn't. I'm like, bro, Terrence is going to beat this guy. I knew it.
Terrence is another level. And he hasn't, that's the thing is that's why it bothers me to think that like we got deprived of a true American superstar because he was not allowed to fight the guys he needed to become the superstar at 147 pounds.
Bro, you can only be mad and have beef with the promoters because that's who prevented these fights from happening.
Well, it was PBC. It was PBC that didn't allow it because Heyman was hurt because Terrence chose Top Rank over over him. And so from that point forward, nope, you're not going to fight my guys. You're gonna be with top rank. That's it. You ain't fighting anybody. And that's
Promoters
what
are
happened.
good and bad for the sport, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. And in Terrence's case, it was bad because we would have had the next Hagler or the next Hearns or the next, I'd never be a Sugar Ray in terms of his marketability, but you would have had that greatness that everybody would have seen. Right, if he would have dominated, everybody would have been going to Terrence Crawford fights because he was lined up every PBC guy and just took him out. And we never got that chance at 147 pounds. It's disappointing.
So I see we're going a little long, but really quick, what do you think about Errol Spence's return?
I think he should stay retired.
Damn, my boy. Why, bro?
I mean, I just, certain fights damage guys mentally. And maybe he's able to get back. Maybe he is. But to take as much time out of the ring as he has, I mean, he got destroyed. And that the psychology behind that, the mental, a lot of people don't realize the mental side of boxing and how key that is to somebody's greatness. When you get dismantled in the ring like he did, most guys don't come back from that. They're just never the same. And I feel that he's going to be that way, that he'll never be the same. They can match him and try to get him there, but he was dismantled in a way that most guys never want to be. And he's made so much money. Go enjoy you've got beautiful kids, you got a wife, go enjoy life. Like, don't get hit anymore. You don't need to. You're wealthy. You're beyond wealthy. Just go enjoy your life.
My rebuttal.
Okay.
I think every once in a while, everybody needs to get their ass whooped just so that you can realize you're walking around here on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? How insignificant we are in regards to the grand scheme of things. You're always going to find someone who's a little bit more fat, who's a little faster, who's a little bigger, who's a little more talented. And I think he needed that. I think he also needed a break a while ago to heal up from his outside of the ring incidents, the accident and, the partying and things of that nature that we've heard the rumors about Errol Smith. However, now that he's been out of the ring almost, going on 3 years, I think that if he comes back and he has his head on straight, he will be a force to be reckoned with at 154. I can also see a humongous fight against Keith Thurman. That's a fight that we never got due to promoters or, one person being across the street, one person having injuries, whatever the excuse was during that time. I think that we still have a window of opportunity to get those two people in the ring. I think that'll be a phenomenal matchup. I think that if he comes back disciplined and determined, he will unify at 154.
Wow.
I think that he also has a big fight, two big fights, possibly big money mega fights against, Devin D-Bull Haney and Jerron Boots Ennis, especially against Boots. We wanted to see that fight before. Sometimes people would say they would prefer to see that fight over Terrence Crawford fight. However, I think those are two big fights that he makes multi-millions before he walks away. If Keith Thurman gets past Fundora, which I think he will, don't get me wrong, I think Fundora is a force to be reckoned with, but I just think it's because of his natural attributes more so than his skills. You know what I'm saying? He's just tall, lanky, rangy, and it's hard for you to get in. But if you're able to break some of that down and get inside, I don't think he has a chin. I don't think that he can withstand body attack. He's very fragile, if you ask me,
Yeah, he has gone down.
So I think if Keith Thurman can get by Fundora, that fight right there between Keith one time or Keith two time, now I should call him Keith three time Thurman, against my boy Earl Spence, I think that is a mega fight that they could, and they'll put it in Texas and they would sell out. You know they would.
Yeah.
So I still think that there's a little bit more fuel left in the tank for Earl Spence. I'm hoping the best for him as well as Keith Thurman, because I still think these guys have contributions that they can make to the beautiful sport of boxing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, financially, I get it. I feel you on that, right? I mean, he's still a marketable, well-known guy. And you're right. He fights in Cowboy Stadium. You know, they, depending on his opponent, they sell that place out. So there's money there. It's just we have to wait how bad he wants it. We'll see. You know, how bad they want it, how bad he wants it. If he's gotten past this shell shock of what he's gone through, what he went through against Terrence, we'll see. We'll see if he's been able to rebuild himself mentally in order to get back in the ring, because at the end of the day, he's got, we know he has the skills, we know he has the experience. It's all right here that matters the most. And if he still has it, then he'll be fine. It's just whether he does or not, we won't know until he laces up and we actually see him take a couple punches and see how he does. So,
also, just to add a little bit more seasoning on that, there were telltale signs with Earl Spence prior to the Terrence Crawford fight. We just didn't know what we were looking at. Remember when he went up against Ugas? And remember when he lost focus at one point, he looked down and Ugas got a chance to get a good hook in and he dropped him back on the ropes. He almost fell. And people were like, what the fuck's going on? His tooth mother fell out. He da-da-da. Whatever the situation may be, he was unfocused. And that shows a lack of mental, fortitude, I think. You understand? Right. So I think there were telltale signs prior to that, even in the Sean Porter fight. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to remember, a little bit of history. And I just think that Terrence Crawford getting in there with an elite athlete that's on top of his game, that doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, all he wants to do is dedicate himself and his life to the sport. I think he was just exposed on that night. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, yeah, that Porter fight, man, I was so upset. That was it the 10th or 11th round so long ago when
10th round
Spence went down, and I was like, they didn't call it a knockdown, and I'm like, I was so pissed.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't remember that. You said Spence
went down. Yeah, he went down, but the judge or the referee said no, it wasn't a knockdown, and then they replayed it. It was full on a knockdown, and they said no, and I'm like, dude, that was the fight. That was the fight. If he would have knocked him, if they would have scored that a knockdown, it would have the cards would have went to Spence, and the cards would have went to Porter, and Porter would have won that fight. Man, that was such a great fight. Those two should have run it back. Yeah, that's a disappointment that we never got that fight.
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't get that fight twice because I was pissed when that referee screwed up that call.
But I think it was telltale signs during those fights. You know what I'm saying? He was just better than his competition, so he was able to pull out the victory. Neither one of those fights were like dominant performances by Earl Spence Jr. Do you agree? We're speaking in regards of Sean Porter and Ugas.
Oh no, they were. I mean, what he ended up stopping Ugas in the 11th, right? Didn't he?
I believe so.
But it was
a hard fight.
It was a hard fight. No, it was not an easy fight. It was not an easy fight, but he ended up stopping him. But the Porter fight was toe-to-toe fight. That was a great fight, and the fact that they didn't just immediately go back to a rematch on that one, that would have been I would have loved to see those guys run it back, but they never did. So
that was Terrence because he was Terrence. That was Earl because he was destined to get all those belts. You know what I'm saying? He was destined to get all those belts, but he wanted to save the last belt for Terrence.
Yeah, and it just didn't. His partying and his accident, and just life happens. It just didn't work out. So.
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be kind of nice. I would love to see him. I would love to see him run through the 154-pound division and get that glory. That get back to what he once was. But I don't know. Maybe time has passed. Too much time has passed. 3 years out of the ring is a long time. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been good. We've been on for how long? We've been on
Almost 2 hours now.
almost 2 hours. Damn.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I love the sport of boxing. I could talk it all day, bro. It's
Oh, hey,
and once again, the landscape is changing and shifting and moving around, and you have a lot of shakers and movers out here right now. That's what makes the sport so interesting, because who would have thought a month ago that we would be talking about a Manny Pacquiao Floyd Money Mayweather fight, and him possibly doing like 3 fights within the next 2 years, and us breaking down his potential opponents. It's interesting talking points, because you can actually see it. If he chooses to take these fights right here, he could walk away killing the game once again, bro.
yeah, we'll
Ryan
see.
Garcia's phenomenal showing against Mario Barrios, who I couldn't predict that one. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't predict that one. You know,
what I found interesting, and there was a lot of guys who were working the fight that noticed the same thing. Outside of the fighters, so boxing is kind of copied UFC when it comes to, they have VIP sections, and the fighters get their own VIP section, and then the celebrities get their VIP section. But there was no celebrity VIP section. There was no celebrities there. Like, there was none. I didn't see any. Like, there was, like, normally at big fights, there's celebrities, right? There was zero.
This is interesting. I think I did notice that, but I didn't make too much of a fuss about it. I did notice.
Well, it's just, stupid things you notice at fights. But I think it's because Ryan has said so many outrageous things that nobody wanted to touch it, right? And now we'll see, now that he's world champion. Watch the next time he fights.
Boxing fans can be very forgiving. That's what I'll say.
Very small memories.
Very short memory.
Very short.
We have selective amnesia. I'll put it to you that way. But yes, everyone wants to be around the champ. And depending on his next opponent, either way, if he decides to go with Shakur, or if he decides to venture down that alley with Dev Debo Haney, either way, it's going to make for great entertainment, great fight. And I think the people, hardcore fans and casual fans, will be intrigued. So he has the world is his oyster right now, bro.
He brings out a whole different crop of boxing fans too. Like another comment around was like, I have never seen so many packs of women. Like, because normally when you see women, they're with their guys, right? There was packs of young 20-something girls at the fight, like sitting ringside by them, not with guys, because it's always with men, right? No, like Ryan brings out all these little girls that follow him on social media. It was hilarious, because literally like packs, like 4 groups of 3, groups of 5, just sitting around, and they were all Ryan Garcia fans. It's different, right? He's expanded the fan base.
Bring them out. That's what's good, man. That's what I mean by, I know this is like a wish list on my part, but Floyd Money Mayweather versus Ryan King Ryan Garcia, bro. I don't think you get much bigger than that.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I agree. I agree.
T-Mobile Stadium, MGM Grand, or fuck it, put him in Allegiant Stadium. Oh man, that'd be crazy.
It's a big fight. It's awesome to watch when Canelo and Terrence fought in that stadium. I couldn't hear for 2 days after that fight. It was so loud in there. It was the largest crowd ever in the history of that stadium, larger than the Super Bowl.
Damn.
Sold out, standing room only. 76,000 people went to that fight.
Damn.
And it was because
what
it's
was
a
the
dome.
average ticket price?
You know what? I don't know. I actually don't know. It was probably, I imagine, because it's that big of a stadium, the nosebleed seats. Like, if you were up in the nosebleeds, you were watching the LED the whole time, because the guys are like, miniature. You're so high up.
But even those ticket prices are like $500.
I would say anywhere from $250 to $500 for those nosebleeds. And then, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 ringside. So yeah, they killed it. They killed it on the gate. So But yeah, Ryan and Mayweather in Allegiant Stadium. Yeah, that would be huge, especially if Ryan had a couple belts too. So it'd be Floyd fighting for another world title.
Think about Ryan coming off a victory against a Shakur Stevenson or a Devin Haney, the former pupils of Floyd Money Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Think about that, bro. That's a story within this. Man, that fight would be so big. That fight would be humongous.
Yeah.
We can only wish.
But you're right. Floyd needs a legitimate. I mean, I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to consider that he's the heavy favorite against Manny. If he does take on younger guys and takes on somebody before Garcia to build up towards that fight, a younger guy, and beats him, to legitimize a 50-year-old fighting a 29-year-old.
I don't even think you need build up there, because it depends on how well he looks against Pacquiao. If he gets in there and we have remnants of the old Floyd, people are immediately going to start talking. What do you think he can do to today's competitors, a younger lion? And if Ryan is the person to beat at 147, bro, that fight would be crazy. For him to beat Ryan and then go into that Canelo fight, bro, how can you say he's not the greatest again?
Right.
3 different times.
True. Yeah. But that's asking a lot, because that's a lot of different weight classes right there. Because he's going to fight Manny at 147, right? So then he's got to fight.
From Manny to Ryan, that's the same weight class.
That's the same, but Canelo, that's a whole different beast.
So look,
as far as weight classes go.
So let's just go over it really quick. I know we're kind of like beating a dead horse right now, but from Pacquiao to Ryan, that's 147. He doesn't have to go anywhere, right? So to fight Canelo, let's say if he does it at 160, that's only a few pounds up. It's like 10 pounds up, right? 10 pounds. Because he's not going to come in at 160. He's going to be like 157, 158. Floyd, I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
Right? And he can stay right there to challenge Bud Crawford. I'm just saying.
I think the Crawford fight, weight-wise, would be better for him than the Canelo fight, because then they can just make it a straight 154 and be done with it.
Yeah. I think Crawford will fight him at 160.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we all know Crawford can make 54. Like that's not he made it no problem before he fought Canelo. So he would just have to change. I mean, he's got the best trainers in the world. He can cut. So
it's very intriguing to think about it, because it's a possibility. If they can make it happen, if they want to make it happen. It's not like it's far-fetched. All of these fights that we're discussing, those are like right around the corner fights. Yeah.
Yeah. And Floyd needs money, so get back in there, Floyd.
But yeah, man.
All right, Jesto, man. Good talking with you. We got to do this again. We got to make this consistent. We will make this consistent.
I'm ready. I could talk boxing all day.
Right. We got more fights. We got more politicking to do with the boxing. There's a lot to go over in this sport. There always is. So it's always fun talking boxing. So
absolutely. I enjoy it.
All right. So you hang in there with all these wishes, because there's a lot of them right now with Mayweather getting back into the mix. But we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be fun either way. It's how it is. They give us fights, we watch them because we're boxing heads.
Yeah, sure, bro. For sure.
All right.
Well, yeah, man, it's always good. Anytime you want to do this, I'm hopefully, due to my work schedule, how it is out here in Vegas.
Right.
But yeah, I'm available for this, bro. I could do this all day. This is what we do. If I'm not doing it now with you, then I'm gonna be watching and listening to a boxing podcast. That's what gets me through my day, bro.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap this up then. Like, subscribe. Appreciate anyone who's watched this long. Thank you very much. And we will see you on the next one.
Salud.
Hang on one sec.